Okay, I get it. I read it. I see it. I hear it. Who is Teofimo Lopez fighting? Who's this? Who? From where? Steve? Steve who? Claggett? Claggett who? Claggett Steve? What? Ladies and gentlemen, I know y'all a little bit frustrated with Top Rank picking Steve Claggett to fight Teofimo Lopez June 29th from Miami. And of course, because Teofimo Lopez, his name is attached to his contemporaries that's also high-profile fighters like Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia, Matias, Devin Haney, Gary Antoine, Jose Ramirez, Jack Catterall, and stuff like that, right? And I think that people forget that Teofimo Lopez is the one that actually set the tone of this young generation. He is the commander-in-chief of this young generation that started it all, that started competing at the highest level, that really was in 50-50 fights beating. Matter of fact, he was the underdog. Let's not forget when he fought and became a world champion in his 14th fight versus Richard Comey. And then in his 15th fight for Vasily Lomachenko, when Vasily Lomachenko was regarded pound for pound, 1, 2, 3, you can flip it around. Yeah, he had a little bit of a hiccup in his career, but then he humbled Ja again with moving up the division and beating Josh Taylor. Right? So I understand that Teofimo Lopez, he made Ja used to see him fight these elite fighters. Right? That's why if you compare the resume of this young generation, Teofimo Lopez have the best resume. He steps up. He's been in more 50-50 fights, or probably he's been the underdog, especially the underdog versus Josh Taylor and the underdog versus Vasily Lomachenko. He is the one that has been risking it, right? And now you see a Steve Claggett, and you're like, come on, Teo. But let's be honest. A lot of these guys ain't even available. Ryan Garcia just beat Devin the Dream Haney. Jack Catterall just beat Josh Taylor. Gary Antoine Russell going to be fighting Puello. Matias is going to be fighting Liam Paro. Pitbull Cruz already got it lined up with Rayo. Feel me? Jose Ramirez didn't fight too long ago. Barbosa didn't fight too long ago. So, of course, we always talk about in the sport of boxing that one of the primary issues in the sport of boxing has been inactivity, right? And we got to understand this. Let's be real. Let's be honest, all right? Y'all be acting like these fighters be fighting elite after elite after elite after elite. No. In the history of the sport of boxing with today's fighters and your legendary fighters that we all admire, nah, they didn't fought elite after elite after elite after elite. Guys, that's not even realistic. There's only one Oscar de la Hoya, the 6th Division World Champion, the golden one. He did that. And that's all we admire about Oscar de la Hoya. But in reality, not every fighter has that type of power. All right? Teofimo Lopez is still under Top Rank. And Top Rank usually call the shots. Right? They're the one that match him up. Steve Claggett is available. Right? He's top 10 in the WBO. But I understand. Y'all don't know who Steve Claggett is. We really never spoke about him as well. Let's not pretend. But let me tell you like this. Steve Claggett is just as dangerous as the elite fighter we assume will be a tougher fight for Teofimo Lopez. Let's not forget that Teofimo Lopez is one of those fighters that when the lights are bright, oh, my man, he shows up. He shows up big time. But when the lights are dimmed, that's where the criticism lies. Teofimo Lopez has the reputation of fighting to the level of his competition. That's his reputation. His reputation is that when he's fighting an elite fighter, a pound-for-pound fighter, man, he fights to the level. Matter of fact, he fights to a higher level, just like he did versus Vasily Lomachenko and Josh Taylor, to a higher level. He humbles the boxing world, and then he performs in a way where he's ordinary, right? With fights and fighters that is put in front of him so he could look spectacular. Now, look, fights like Jermaine Taylor. I'm sorry, not Jermaine Taylor. I'm sorry. I wasn't talking about Jermaine Taylor, but Jermaine Ortiz. Jermaine Ortiz was running like a Man, he was running like he was at the Boston Marathon. He ain't wanted to fight. So I could understand, you know what I'm saying? I think that fight was more so of a Jermaine Ortiz not wanting to engage, not ready for his first opportunity to become a world champion or challenge the champion. He just wanted to sit there. I mean, I sit there, but run around and just survive a 12 round. The Sandor Martin fight, people was criticizing Teofimo Lopez in the Sandor Martin fight that even had Teofimo Lopez questioning himself in the post-fight interview, in which after that, he humbled the boxing world. So there's like a seesaw. There's not a consistency in terms of performance when it comes to Teofimo Lopez. And this is why. For the people that's saying that, oh my God, who is Steve Claggett? Who's this? What is this fight? Like Eddie Hearn was trying to say that that's an idiotic fight and things like that. Shut the hell up, Eddie Hearn. Shut up. Because Teofimo Lopez, these are the fights that he makes hard. These are the fights that for his reputation, people, the criticism that he gets, that he fights ordinary. He doesn't look like he's the takeover versus the Sandor Martin of the world, versus the Jermaine Ortiz of the world, versus the Nakatani of the world, versus the Cambosas of the world, right? But when it comes to the elite fighter, so this is what makes it a little bit intriguing. That Teofimo Lopez is fighting Steve Claggett, but I don't know. Does Teofimo Lopez find when Teofimo Lopez is the massive favorite, the people feel he tends not to show up, that takeover. I believe that Teofimo Lopez, in my opinion, is hungrier than ever, more disciplined than ever. Stay within his weight. He's walking around at 150 pounds. He's working. He stays in the gym. He stays busy. He's wholesome. He got his family. He got his wife. Everything is back in order in his private life. Everything is back in order physically, right? Had a couple of surgeries in the past. Everything is all healed up. His mindset is healed up. His heart is healed up. His physical is healed up. Walking into his prime right now, because he's only 26 years old, so he's walking really now into his prime. I always said that the age of 27 and 32 is where, in my opinion, is where you at your prime, when your physical ability and your intellect is coexisting at the highest level. Always stated that. But which Teofimo Lopez is going to be showing up June 29th? That's the question. So for the people that out there that's saying, oh, man, we should be fighting this one. He should be fighting this one. We don't know what Teofimo Lopez is going to show up, and that's what's highly intriguing about this fight. Let me say it like this. It's unfortunate, but fighters, especially where Teofimo Lopez is at right now in his career, some fighters may feel like they don't got to prove nothing to nobody. They already been champion. They're already proven at the highest level. But when you're still an active fighter or still an active athlete, you still got to prove more. It's unfortunate because, of course, these fighters are fighting. Teofimo Lopez is a great fighter. Going to be a potential. Is going to be a Hall of Fame. Already got a Hall of Fame resume. The question is if he's going to be first ballot, second ballot, or third ballot. But the accomplishment already entails that he's already in his way into the Hall of Fame. But his career is far from ending. So, still got to prove that you are the takeover. And Teofimo Lopez is going to have to erase that type of reputation of fighting to the level of his competition or performing to the level of his competition. Teofimo Lopez has a big fight ahead after June 29th. I believe a fight with Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez will do well over 1 million pay-per-view buys. Will do way better than Ryan Garcia and David the Dream Haney, because you got two guys that know how to promote themselves, two guys that got a mouthpiece, two guys that are spectacular in and out the ring in terms of great character out the ring and spectacular and explosive inside of the ring. Speed and power, athleticism, IQ of Teofimo Lopez, and the speed and power of Ryan Garcia. Man. Leading up to that fight will be huge. Teofimo Lopez versus Gervonta Tank Davis. Explosive. I told Teofimo Lopez one time I think that's his legacy fight. What about Teofimo Lopez versus Subriel Matias in Madison Square Garden, New York City? Wow. Sell out the Garden. But June 29th, Teofimo Lopez have to perform. He has to bring that Fortnite Teofimo Lopez, that explosive Teofimo Lopez, the takeover Teofimo Lopez. He has to look spectacular, dominant, and exciting and captivate the imagination, the emotions of the boxing fans. Because if he doesn't, he won't have that type of momentum. He needs this fight. He needs to perform at the highest of all highest and show the world that he is the takeover.